the grandfather of all Hong Kong immigration statuses that avail family reunion in Hong Kong and allow for the education of children and indeed other people over the age of 18 who are in full-time education with certain registered education institutes. If you've got a Hong Kong dependent visa, all your problems are solved, essentially. It's a fantastic immigration status to have, and the way that you go about getting it is that you have a principal sponsor who has a residence visa of his or her own, usually an employment visa, sometimes a business investment visa, or one of the special programs called the Quality Migrant Admission Scheme, or indeed under the immigration arrangements for non-local graduates. But if you hold one of those primary visas, you can get a dependent visa for certain of your family members. Now, how do you get a dependent visa? Well, assuming that you are eligible, and that means you need to be the legal spouse in a heterosexual relationship, legally married, and any children that you have are under the age of 18. And if you have that at play, you can apply for dependent visas for everybody, all family members. And the test for approval that the Immigration Department apply to those applications is basically, is there a genuine relationship and is there a legal marriage? Can the sponsor, the principal visa holding spouse, can he or she put a roof over the head of his family, and can he put food on the table for his family? And if he can then financially support them to a level that is above sustenance, then the visa application will be positively finalised, and it takes about 6 weeks for those cases to be approved. And once you get a dependent visa, you are lawfully able to engage in any kind of activity. Start a business, work for somebody else, full-time, part-time, volunteer, go to school full-time, part-time, at any level, no requirement whatsoever to report what you're doing with the Immigration Department. It gives you those permissions freely. And your children in kind essentially get all the immigration privileges that go with that as well. So once they get to a working age, they will be able to take part-time work on if, in fact, that opportunity presents himself, or itself, I should say. And so then you've got permission to study inherent in that visa, and that way it's the granddaddy of all solutions to the question of how you facilitate immigration for your family members when you're being in Hong Kong. Okay, so what about children who are adopted or biological children of the Union? Well, as I've mentioned, they do get dependent visas. And as long as you can prove that one of the children is of a child of the couple that are legally married, then that child will be entitled to a dependent visa, even if one of the parents is not actually the parent of the child, so to speak. So adopted and biological children of the Union are eligible for dependent visas. And then children where there are blended families, the situation used to be that the Immigration Department would not allow the child of a dependent visa holder who didn't have the biological father to be the spouse of the mother, because the father came from another family. And in those instances, because the mother had the relationship with the child and not the father, the mother had the dependent visa, the mother couldn't sponsor a dependent visa for the child. And so the way that the Immigration Department used to do it, they would put the child under informal guardianship of the father, and then they would grant the child a student visa. But that changed 2 or 3 years ago, where now they just look at that situation, and where you've got blended families, just give the children dependent visas, so there's no such distinction much any longer.